Greetings, creatures of the alternate universe called Earth. You may not know me, but for those who do, my name has been lost to the ages. Those who do know it will not dare to speak it, but you may call me the Shadowed One. I am the leader of the Dark Hunters, an organization of mercenaries, thieves, enforcers, and monstrosities gathered from every shadowy corner of the universe. For thousands of years, we have specialized in theft, assassination, and just pure murder in the sake of profit. Not long ago, as I reclined in my throne, I felt a sudden rush of thought in my head and saw all of your mental images appear. Questions from what I can assume are my biggest devotees and admirers, and so here I am to answer your burning inquiries. They had better not waste my time. And Recorder, this is not for the records. Let us begin, humans. Dear Shadowed One, is there anyone you regret getting rid of? I do regret killing Ancient. He was, the word is difficult to say, my friend. By my side since the beginning, together we formed the Dark Hunters and ushered a new age of wealth, death, and destruction. Unfortunately, he had to discover the vials that I found and had to keep secret. But since the VOPORAK have since spilled the protodermis, killing him was wasteful. However, now that I know he was a member of the Order, killing him was necessary. I can never trust again. Except Sentrak, of course. Who is your favorite Dark Hunter besides yourself? Myself? Oh no. You said I can't do that. I don't have favorites, human. But Dweller could serve that title as a favorite, I suppose. If Pterodax took over the Dark Hunters, what would you do? Inconceivable. But I will allow your fantasy. If Pterodax was in command, I would launch a stealth invasion that will rival Kojal's attack on Artaka, and while having my minions distract and die by his hand, I would bind him with my staff before disintegrating Makuta once and for all. What is your opinion on Diet Coke? I despise it. Only consume the classics, human. Just how in Karzani did you manage to keep together an organization composed entirely of mercenaries, backstabbers, throat cutters, and generally people who only think about themselves and themselves only, and constantly crave for a second where you lower your guard and jab a knife in your head? Simple, human. One word. Fear. Quite ironically, a weapon that Karzani himself used. Fear is more powerful weapon than the deadliest spear, or even my disintegration eye-beams, and all Dark Hunters fear me, and righteously so. Number 1. What was your original thoughts on Makuta Pterodax before he killed Nadiki and Kreka, 2 of your Dark Hunters? I never had much respect for Pterodax, but it was a profitable partnership between the Dark Hunters and Brotherhood of Makuta. My organization thrived from the death and carnage that they paid us for, and in turn, they had pieces removed from the game board, while still pretending to be a benevolent band. Number 2. What is your connection towards my dear Rudaka? That treacherous harpy? She worked for me until I found out she had also worked for the Brotherhood and traded information to both sides. She will get her comeuppance when I discover where her prison cell is. Number 3. Do you hate Sidorak or not? Of course I hated him. He was worthless. He couldn't even make it past the first entry exam, and even got beaten by a slave from his own homeland. It's better that he was crushed to death by a legendary Rahi. Better than the fate I had in store for him. Who is specifically your favorite Dark Hunter of your oh-so-great organization? Why, thank you. And who is specifically your least favorite? Why, Sentrak, of course. He is my most loyal servant, and the only one who I believe I can trust. But I am the reason he is that way. As for the one I'd wish to lie dead in my claw, oh, that's easy. Zaktan. If he had physical flesh where I could grip his neck. Are you and Rudaka the same species? Bah! You venture to compare me to that witch! How dare you! I'll have your head for your insolence just because we have the same build. What? You think all Matoran and Toa are alike? Are you racist, ignorant human? How fun is it being a tyrant who is the biggest villain who survived the entirety of the Bionicle storyline and managed to begin starting an army to conquer the world of Spheres Magna? Oh, you're doing good as a tyrant. Why, thank you for your words, Ninja Master Builder. However, your use of the word tyrant offends me. Not the word itself, as I consider it an honor, but it brings back dark memories of another traitorous individual who's tried to usurp me. It is quite fun to be the biggest conqueror on the list, and entries are open to join my legion. To the epic and terrifying ruler of the Dark Hunters. Quite good. Did you intend to turn Zaktan into a bunch of prototypes, or was it unexpected? Ah, a tale as old as time. Zaktan attempted to reach for higher power and eliminate me, only to fail, and when he was brought to me, I sought to execute him with my eye beams. But it didn't kill him, as you well know. So no, I didn't expect it. In fact, I was dumbfounded. I will discover the means of how he survives, so I can ensure that no one receives the same fate. Merely so none can oppose me like he did. Question for the Shadowed One. What is your opinion on the League of Six Kingdoms? Question 2. Is there any beings that could have threatened you, besides the Makuta Brotherhood? The Baraki are a shell of what they once were. I heard that one of their number betrayed the others, and another was killed by Trencrom himself. But the League at the height of their power were a sight to behold, and I respected that. As for any foolish enough to threaten me as the Brotherhood is no more, the Order of Matanui still opposes me. We shall see who comes out on top when I begin my conquest. This is something I personally wondered for a while. But what do you feel would happen should Zaktan be struck with your eye beams for a second time? If I had that treacherous mutant Skakti in my claw once again, and I will, once I discover his whereabouts, I would not likely attempt the same maneuver, but I feel if I could keep his measly prototypes together, the result would either do what was intended, vaporize, or turn him into something else, perhaps more powerful. I suppose we'll never know. Do your eye beams strain your eyes if you use them too long? Yes, quite often, though irritation mostly comes from the dust particles of the deceased. Sentrak helps keep my eyes hydrated after a long day of such uses. Question for the all-powerful Shadowed One. Very good. Besides the Paraka, of course, is there any member of the Dark Hunters who is currently serving you that you regret accepting into your organization? Regret is unprofessional, but if I had to choose one, it would likely have to be Conjurer. I've made a policy after Tyrant to never recruit from my own species. They have a tendency to attempt to kill me, but unfortunately for Conjurer, his attempt at ultimate power spiraled him into a coma, and still he remains that way. If he wakes up, I have no doubt he'll try again. And fail. Question 1. What are your opinions on Pterodax's plans? Don't care, never have, and look where they got him. Dead. Number 2. Which Toa do you respect the most? In days long past, I would have said Lee Khan, as he led hundreds of Toa against my legions of Dark Hunters in the Toa Dark Hunter War, and was victorious. He earned my respect for that. Doesn't mean I would disintegrate him in a second if we met. Number 3. And is Kopaka Nuva a Redditor? Huh? How should I know? Don't ask illogical questions that I have no answers for. I've been thinking about possible career opportunities and was wondering, what is the recruitment process like for the Dark Hunters? We are always open to new recruits within the Dark Hunters. There are a few preceding rules to join our ranks. 1. The strength to leave everyone and everything behind. 2. The willingness to do what is necessary. 3. The disposition to dispose of any and all who get in the way of your mission. Also required is an acute narcissism, a complete lack of empathy, and an inclination towards moral insanity. Also just killing with no regard. Do any of those things, and welcome to the Dark Hunters. How do you determine what kind of punishments a certain slight against you warrants? Do you base them on how badly a hunter feels you, go against you, or do you keep it random so as to keep your employees on their toes? Finally, an inquiry that intrigues me. As leader of the Dark Hunters, I try to be as unpredictable as possible, such as teaming hunters up with those they hate or don't understand. Really, it comes down to my own personal preference, such as Triglax, who had a habit of keeping items he was assigned to collect. Instead of removing his hands, which I would have preferred, he was allowed to breathe with difficulty for a few weeks. As for others, disobedience is met with extermination, but treachery is met with far worse, for traitors are not granted the mercy of death. And that ends our questionnaire for this day. I must admit, some of your inquiries were quite intriguing, while others made me question whether you're sane or not. But I suppose those are just the kinds of qualities I look for in a Dark Hunter. Openings to join my legions are abound. Be warned, once you join my ranks, it is eternal. As for future inquiries, VOPORAK will soon return with the Mask of Time. Perhaps you can intrigue him as you did me, humans. Keep it short and one question at a time, though. This is the Shadowed One, leader of the Dark Hunters, parting you with a final goodbye. However, before you depart, who sent you